My name is my name is Charles Welch, but I go by professionally in media or whatever by Charlie Mack. The former program director of the Juice 107.3. I'm vice president of Fleming Street Communications, which is the owner of the Juice 107.3. I am a real estate agent with Key Realty, and I love it. And I am also host of Untold, the Hidden Stories of Northwest Ohio, Emmy Award winning series on BCAN.
And then once again, I'm gonna say the same thing.
That's all, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hit me with the Emmy. I just love hearing that.
Yo, you know, man, and so we started doing this. I talked to my guy, my executive producer, Marcus Harrison, about doing a show like years ago. He came to the office at the radio station. Anyway, so it came down the road. He was like, "Yo, let's do it." And the show is about Untold. It's about, you know, stories that people don't realize that happened here in Toledo that are really phenomenal stories. Like the amusement park we had, which is right down the street from where we are now. We used to have an amusement park that was rival to Cedar Point and Las Vegas. We had people who robbed now the Jefferson Center, but it used to be the old U.S. Post Office, and they robbed it with machine guns. And these things are still there. All kinds of major things that happened. And our first episode, our very first season, we got our first nomination for an Emmy, and we won. And we've been nominated ever since for the past 2 years, and hopefully by the time this airs, we will have our third year in a row of being nominated for Emmys.
That's what's up. And it just gives me something else to look forward to. Mm-hmm. And actually, it changed my views on a lot of media stuff after your interview. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It kind of in the stuff I do and was gonna do, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, with the music stuff. Like, yeah. I'm changing that up because it's just I see a whole different envious, always competition thing in the music thing.
And I will say this much, man. As far as the television stuff goes and the Emmy stuff goes, like I went to the first year I didn't go to the award ceremony. The last year I did go. Took a couple of my sons, and we had a great time. But to be at the table and to hear Toledo being nominated and against everybody else in the region, and when those Toledo cats, Channel 11, Channel 13, 24, whatever, or Buckeye, you know, we won. Whenever we got the award, I mean, we was geeked. And some people didn't even go to the award ceremony. So my dude, you know, he brought back like 7 Emmys, you know, to bring back to his coworkers, you know, at Buckeye, you know, because, you know, they had won these awards, man. And it's dope, but it also, man, it makes you step your game up, because this past year, let's say it was the first year that I went, and we were watching when my 2 categories came up, and the people that we were up against, when theirs started showing on the screen, I looked at my son, I was like, damn, we might not win, you know, because it lets you know that people are really doing major things in smaller, not major markets.
Yeah. And I think we don't got a lot of people here doing a lot of things like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it don't seem feasible.
And you know what's so tripped out? We do. We do. I'm telling you, you know how it is, man. You run in certain circles, you see certain things. Yeah. And so I told my dude, I was like, we're gonna win an Emmy, but I was just joking. And then to be around the people, and you start going to the television networks and things like that, and you see their row of Emmys up on, and they're doing it. And these are local people doing things. People not just local, but people that are from Toledo, who live in Toledo and who make their homes in Toledo, who are doing major things. They are so talented. I just got into the advertising realm of things, and the advertising products that people put on, like these advertising agencies here in Toledo that they put out, are stellar. Yeah. I mean, stellar. So yeah, it's a lot. There really is a lot of people doing it, but we don't travel in those circles, so you don't know.
Yeah, and then that's the bigger question is is how to get into them circles.
Exactly. And and I have always been one who I just refuse to play the game, and it has probably hurt me some, but I just refuse to play the game. I can't be nice. I can be personable. I can do all the right things and say all the right things, but I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not just to be around certain people. There are groups of people that I see that I know I would never be invited to their get-togethers, and I'm fine with that. I make my peace being myself. But I told people at an award ceremony I was hosting the other day, it's our job to bring in people, the next generation. So like, it's your job to bring your kids up and show them everything that you do, and so that they get into business. And and that's how we get people into breaking into those rules.
Well, see, that's crazy, because like, you would look at your level of success, and you would think that you wouldn't feel discriminated against or put out of them circles.
And I'll be honest, man. Like, I mean, they're I'm trying to be politically correct, bro, but you really messing with me right now. I mean, listen, man. Let's be honest. Damn. There's groups of people, and it's not just like, there's groups of black folks that they're not gonna be down with me. They're just not. They're just not. They just roll in their circles and they do. There's groups of white folks that's not gonna be down with me just because it is what it is. But I say this, like, I'm good at maneuvering through all different circles. And I can go to the hood spot, I can go to the bougie spot, and I am comfortable no matter where I go. I just don't necessarily get invited. And I'm cool with that. I know my space, I know my place. And I'm not, and you know what? I'm one of those people who, if I go to an event, I can talk to the people who are hosting the event, like, hey, how you doing? But at the same time, I'm talking to the waiter and the bartender, and we chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm chopping it up with the waiter and the bartender, and we talking about what the real spot is, and they give me the real food that was in the bag that nobody really supposed to know. I'm doing like that. So I'm cool.
Yeah. But do you think it's that part of you that they see that is not accepted, that you able to mingle on a normal level with people?
I think that in my particular case, I don't think that I'm not accepted in places. I just know that certain people just don't know me or just don't mess with me or whatever. I always say this, man, if you know me, you love. If you know me and you got a problem with me, then something's wrong with you, because I keep telling people I'm a good dude. So like, if you know me, you cool with me. I get invited to a lot of different places, don't get me wrong, but just certain people that I just know they don't mess with me.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, man, a lot of people, they still. I was a different person when I was on the radio. I was a different person. I was that wild dude. I was peeing in diapers on the radio. I was in the club all the time.
Wait,
dude.
You ain't gonna just glass past that one.
Yo, I remember I put on an adult diaper, and I don't even know why I did it, but I put on an adult diaper and a Juice t-shirt, and I was on the radio, and I was trying to find my way.
Was you on for a long time?
No, I wasn't. I was on my regular 4 or 5 hour shift, and I pissed in a diaper on the radio and was telling people I was doing it because I was trying to shock people into doing it. First of all, I feel judged by you right now. So let me just say it and get that out the way. But secondly, I was really trying to find my way as an on-air personality, and I had 3 influences doing radio. My one influence was Ludacris, because he was Chris Lover on the radio in Atlanta.
Okay, yeah.
When he was Chris Lover, and I didn't know he was a rapper. I knew he was this young 17, 18-year-old dude on the radio whose style I loved. My first radio influence was obviously my father, but he was doing a different kind of radio. He grew up with radio in the late 60s and all the way through 2000s. So he was doing radio when you had to have a license, a Class A license to be on the radio, And so I got the foundation from him. I got my style from Luda, and I also got my knowledge of the radio game and broadcasting in general. My knowledge of that came from the from bar none, the #1 broadcaster in broadcasting history, bar none, television, especially radio, but even in television, and that is, I'm gonna say it, it's Howard Stern. Howard Stern revolutionized everything. I mean, everything, and not only that, but he went from the guy who was having strippers on there and doing all kinds of crazy things to interviewing Hillary Clinton, and a legit, his interviews are bar none. He's the best interviewer of all time, hands down. Okay. And so I got my bones from them.
Okay. Yeah. See, when you add that in there,
so I pissed on the radio, man. I was trying to find my way. All right. I mean, everybody peed on the radio one time. And dude, I did some crazy, bruh. I ain't gonna tell you all the things I've done. I ain't gonna tell you all the things I've done on the radio, but I did some. Dude, we went down to the competition. At one point, the competition was was a few buildings down from where we were, and they had started some shit with us. And people don't realize, like at one point, the dude at their other radio station, he had hired a new DJ, and he came down and knocked on our door, and brought this DJ in. It was, first of all, we don't visit each other, but we weren't cool. He came in and was like, yo, I just want y'all to meet the dude who about to put y'all under. I was like, are you serious? He's like, I want y'all to meet the brother who's about to put y'all under, put y'all out of business. He about to say, and dude was like, yeah, man, I'm from the D. I'm about to run through da. That fool ended up quitting after 3-4 months, whatever. But so anyway, I went down. I had a dude paint himself in our juice colors, and we went down to the other radio station, and they had their station wrapped vehicles out front, and we had him wipe his ass on their door handles and stuff like that. We were just doing all kinds of crazy stuff because I didn't care. And dude, I had one boss to answer to. That was my father. As long as I was bringing in the numbers, yeah, I was cool. And so, dude, I did all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, I remember when they was out there.
And they were foul. And people don't realize that, and anyway, don't get me started. I'm gonna sound like a hater.
Yeah, but I always thought in my head, why? Was that just a good airway area?
No, it just so happened that they were there first, I believe. I believe they were there first. We just happened to have a building that happened to be for sale, and it was perfect. It was just perfect, and just happened to be down the street. So it was just coincidence that we were down the street from them.
Yeah, because I remember you had said something about, no, was that you or Rich that told me about the satellite situation that was hitting off the
building next door to us. So yeah, it actually wasn't a good location because that building next door was blocking our signal. But other than that, so it was bad. But no, it just happened that they happened to be down the street and they happened to be assholes. Man. And like I said, we started that radio station. My father, I watched him every day battling, hiring lawyers with money he did. He was borrowing money to hire lawyers to do this and doing stuff himself and researching stuff himself without the internet, and scrapping for 10 years to get the license, then to build the station from when we got our first CD player and playing my CDs and my brother-in-law's CDs and my father's CDs. We brought those and put them in the computer, and so we playing our music, and when we bought something new, we put it into the system to play and all that, and then to have somebody come and try to disrespect me, no, dude, this is not a business. I don't. You work for somebody. I work for my family, and you're not gonna come and talk shit to me. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it at all.
So, I see that we ain't saying names.
Uh-huh.
So, did he come work for them from another place, or was he here already?
I'll be honest with you. I don't remember who this dude was no more. I don't remember his name. I remember the dude. I think he came from Detroit, and my dude brought him down. Rocky's punk ass brought him down. Rocky Love, bitch. He brought him down.
That's who I was talking about.
No, Rocky and I were both program directors. So we were both in charge of the music at the radio stations that we were on respectively. And I had no problem with Rocky in the beginning, but when you do stuff like that, when you bring a dude down and knock on my door, and how can I say this? I grew up with Charlie Chuck. This man was born in the 1930s in Alabama. He stayed strapped. Literally, so I stayed strapped. So you come to my house, and so I went back to my office, and I was like, I had a problem. Like I took things very personal because it was my family's business that we built from the ground up. And and so I got stuff like my pop stage strapped. My pops almost shot Life Jennings. Life Jennings had an interview at the radio station after he had made it and all that. He was back in town. He had an interview at the radio station, and he couldn't get a hold of whoever the DJ was on the air. Well, I don't know who. I think it might have been one time, whatever. He couldn't get a hold of him on the air, and so he went around knocking on the windows of the building. And Pops was like, and Pops pulled out the. Let me tell you something. We real good church going folks. Don't push us.
No, was Rocky from Toledo? Or?
Rocky ain't from Toledo.
Okay.
No, I came from. I don't even know if he's still there. I don't even know. But I ain't got no beef with him no more. But I didn't appreciate that. But I don't know where he's from. But that dude he brought in, it was a light skinned dude. But he brought him down to the station and told us, "Yo, I want y'all to see the dude about to put y'all out of business." Shut up. Y'all don't understand. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't like you, man. You have me bring out the bad stuff. Go ahead.
Oh man. Yeah. What we gonna call it, radio war?
Radio war, bruh. We had some stuff though. You would think that would be a mutual respect, because at one point, they were doing the adult stuff with the one station that they had, and we were doing the hip hop stuff. And so it was okay. It's cool. So it's no beef. Two urban stations. There's only two in the city. Y'all going for the adults. We going for their kids. Let's just go.
Yeah.
And then they popped up. They had another one. There was hardly enough room for one radio station after the black market in Toledo, after the urban market. Let's say urban because it was black and white folks. To have two, okay, I get it. You got an adult and a mainstream. When they got the other station and went for the mainstream, for the hip hop, under one roof, that was a business move to put us out of business, and which is fine. But they were like, look, we're gonna have an adult, we're gonna have a mainstream, we're gonna put the juice out of business. It didn't work. And then next thing you know, Clear Channel, they pop up with what is it, the beat? No, what is it? What's the
49?
No. So you had 95.7, which was adult, and then you had Hot 97.3. And then what's the one they got now? The other one?
94.9, I think.
Oh yeah, okay, so they got that.
Yeah.
You try to tell me you need 4 black radio stations in Toledo?
And wait, them 3 is under the same...
2 are under the same roof. 1 is under Clear Channel, and then we got us. But 2 is under the same, and they were there just to put us out. It was just, I get it as business. But I'm gonna take that personal. I gotta fight you. I have to crush you. In the words of Howard Stern, if I have 90% of the market and you have 10, to hell with that. I need those other 10. I need 100%. I have to win. I have to win. At all costs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it got a little...
It got a little heated. It got a little heated at times, but it didn't have to be. It wasn't us. I'm gonna say that they got heated at times, but it was not us. We didn't want to start no beef with nobody. We just want to do our thing. Y'all do your thing. We could call it a day. And then they started coming right for us. And then anytime you come up and you physically knock on my door and step in my office and tell me that this dude about to put you out of business, oh fool, you gotta die. You gotta die.
Yeah, like that, it just seemed weird. And I think that it would have been more beneficial just to not come in so hostile.
Not to be so hostile. Yeah. And like you figure they were here first, and we came second, and we didn't come at them. We did our thing. We didn't start no beef with them at all. We were here second. We know they were there first. We came second. And thank God they were, but we didn't come in hostile. They took offense. We weren't even going for the same market. Yeah. That's all right. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, I want to kind of go back to a story you told me, like, cause I thought it was kind of cool about life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
About how I met?
Yeah.
So, I had a meeting with a guy who was putting out local music, which I guess we never played. We a dude who was putting out local music, and I knew who he was. So I was like, yo, you want to meet with me and bring me some more stuff? I was like, all right, bet. And so I went out to the office. I went out to my lobby and said, "Your dude is here." So I was like, "All right, cool." And I went out, and him and his boy was sitting on the couch. I was like, "Oh yeah, y'all come on back." So they came on back to the office, and they came to my office. They sat on my couch, and I closed the door, and was talking. I was like, "Yo, man, good to see you. How you been?" It's like, "Yo, I've been cool. Da da da. We got this music." I was like, "And what do you do?" And the dude next to him was like, I don't know him. I was out there, and you said come back, so I came back. I wanted to give you my CD. And dude gave me a CD, and I was laughing. I was like, what? I was like, hey, that's kind of fly, man. He just came back because I said, come on back. He just slid in. And I took his CD, and I don't know if I listened to it then or not, but I was like, all right, man, yo, your information's on here. I was like, all right, bet, I'm going to get back with you. And dude left. And my dude I had the appointment with, he stayed there. We laughed. The dude was like, dude just snuck back. And we was laughing at him. And turns out that the dude that snuck back was Life Jennings. He didn't have a deal at the time. And I was like, I have an ear. I'm not boasting. I have an ear. I know music. Not that I know talent, but I know music. I know what songs are going to get a response on radio, period. And I knew, I was like, this dude has it. There was one, maybe two songs on the CD. I was like, you got it. And so I called him, I talked to him, and he called me back until we got into each other. And he was like, yo, the record label is looking at me. They're thinking about signing me. I was like, dude is so good, he might be telling the truth. So I called my people, my personal friends at the record label. Was like, yo, can you research this guy? His name is Life Jennings. And he said that y'all are looking at him, whatever. And she's like, all right, I'll get back with you. And she got back with me. She's like, actually, Charlie, yeah, I guess they are looking at him. And, they want to see what he does, what kind of response he does, what kind of, bubbling up he does. And so people don't realize is that some people do, some people don't. When you put out a record, you submit it to what's called BDS. And it basically, every record, they take a 15-second snippet from one part of your song. They don't say whether it's beginning, the middle, or end, and they blueprint your song. And so there's computers listening, satellites listening to every station. And when your song is played, it marks it up. Okay, the song I played at 4:59 on WJUC, and whatever. And so I started playing this song in #1 rotation. I did it for weeks. I played that song 10 to 12 times a day for weeks. And it wasn't because of me he got a deal, it wasn't that, but I was going to do my part to help this dude who I did not know, but I was like, he got it. And the fact that he got an actual chance, like, most people don't have a chance. Just because you're talented don't mean you got a chance. Just because you're talented and you got the right look don't mean you got a chance. Just because you're talented, got the right look, and you know the right people, it don't mean you can be great. But if you got that actual chance where the label's actually looking at you at that time, label support was it, I was like, I got to do what I got to do. And he ended up getting that deal, and I appreciate it. I don't talk to him anymore, but it's through social media. But he's always been cool with the station. He had us in his videos or whatever. He came, and when he had his first party in Toledo after he had made it, he gave me a gold record, and he presented me with that gold record. And that gold record means probably the most to me, because I saw the dude elevate, and that same gold record, that first one, it went gold, then it went platinum, and he sent me the platinum plaque. And so I have those hanging up still, because I love that dude's story, from where he came from and what he went through to where he got to where he is.
Yeah, he do got a story.
Yeah, he got a story, and that's another thing. That's why, that's like I say, I'm in the Howard Stern, because he went from being America's asshole to being a respected journalist. He's still crazy, but he's filthy rich because he's good at what he does. That's why I was telling my son yesterday, I love Malcolm X, not because of what he stood for, but because of what he went through and how he went from being the young kid being raised by his mom after his dad died or whatever, and then being on drugs and being a thief and all that stuff, and being a pimp and everything like that, and then being the legit good dude that nobody could fault him. I love people, and that's how I feel I was. Like, I was a wild dude on the radio, and I was a wild dude off the radio. I was wild. I was wild, but I grew out of it.
Well, and I kind of want to touch on what you were saying, was like you kind of developed a disorder from what other people. Well, let me not say it like that.
Okay, no, wait, no, I got you. No, whatever.
When somebody reword it.
I developed a disorder. No, but what you about to say? What you saying?
About the disorder about people giving you everything, treating you a certain way. You know, from being on the radio station.
I mean, bruh, I don't know if it was because, and even though the other station was on the air, and you know, they were doing their thing, whatever, no knock on them. But when we came on, I don't know how it was for anybody else, but when we came on, every personality at that radio station, we were, and people say, yeah, wait, no, the hell we weren't. We were the shit, and I know we were, and don't get me wrong, we appreciated it. You know, we weren't just the shit, like walking around like we the shit. Like we were genuinely happy to like walk in the club and the DJ, no matter if I knew him or not, be like, stop the music. Yo, what's up? We got the people from the Juice 107.3 in the building. And we're like, rah, rah, rah. And next thing you know, bottles coming over. And we're like, this is dope. You know, and I'm going through McDonald's, and I would to this day when I go to the fast food restaurant, I go in because I went in back in the day because I might get a hookup because people would recognize me and be like, you know. So I mean, so I'm like, I loved it, but bruh, I loved the attention and the local fame that we had because it was like being on spring break for 20 years and being like the VIP, and it was awesome, and then it blew my head up. I started believing my own hypo as we all did. We all fell into the depths of all of it, but you know, you gotta learn your lesson. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta live a little.
You gotta live a little bit. You know, you gotta live a little bit.
Yeah, no, I completely know what you're talking about because I had to. Well, no, it probably was a different.
Mm-hmm.
Like B12 and Tim, that situation. I had to not be B12.
Right.
Like it's detrimental to your health.
Bruh, it's that because you start believing in your own hype, man. You start living that life. I mean, I remember one time me, Nikki G, and Keith Success went to, I want to say Jones Junior High or one of the junior high schools, and we were just little kids, you know, so middle school kids. And we were happy to go, and they had us speaking, and we went, and they introduced us like, yo, here's the people from the radio station, da 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 da. And we came out, we gave our speech, and they were like, they handed me the mic, and I was like, yeah, sorry, you can stay in school, and da 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 da, and yeah, we hang out, blah blah blah. And when we left, like we got done, regular thing, and we're like, okay, can you sign my autograph? I was like, yeah, no problem. And I'm signing autographs, and I look over at Nikki, and she signed autographs, and look over at Keith, and he signed autographs. I'm like, okay, we're happy. And we're signing autographs, and next thing you know, the police were like, all right, stay back. And the kids they were just coming to the point where the police were like, you can't sign any more autographs, you have to leave because it's unsafe. And we went to go leave, and I don't know if the classes let out, but they started coming down the hallway to the point where the police ran us they literally, physically ran us out of the building. We went out the door, they turned the door and they let us out and they blocked the kids from going. Some kids got out and they ran up to my car and was bamming on my door and saying, just sign my hand, man, just sign my hand. And the kids were I had a little two-door Honda Civic, and they were rocking my car. I was like, this cannot be life. This cannot be life. And we would look and we laughed and we smiled. I was like, life is different now. Life is different now.
When did the Juice come on here?
Juice came on February 28th or 27th, depending on who you ask, 1997. We signed on. My father, Charlie Chug, said a prayer and went on the air, and he did his thing. And he did, I don't know if he did a whole show, but he did some time on, just crack the mic, and he's like, all right, you go. And I said a couple things, and I didn't realize that I have stage fright. And so every day before I would go on the air, I would get sick. I would throw up. Like literally, if it was a 5-day week, 3 or 4 days a week, I would throw up before I went on the air because I was scared. and I wasn't that good, but I got better. But I was super scared, and we went on the air, and the rest has been nonstop ever since.
How long did that last?
The stage fright?
Yeah.
The stage fright being on the radio lasted a good year or more until I finally got good at what I did. I ain't gonna pull no punches. I got good at what I did, and because I copied off other people. But the stage fright thing still stuck with me. Like I would do a stand up and hosting things. Whenever I would like host an event or do an even stand up or whatever, I always had to have a glass in my hand. People think I would have like liquor, and I'll have like, it would be a glass with a lime, it would be a glass of Sprite or water, or I have to have a towel in my hand to stop me from. That was my crutch. I had stage fright all the time. Then once I got on stage, it always went away. But leading up, I got super scared every time.
Just going there, getting up,
going there, like dude, when I host a show, like I've hosted at, like say Funny Bone. I've hosted a Funny Bone a million times. I get scared. I get scared.
In my head, I can see you up there.
I would take that back then. They had those cloth napkins. I would take those gray cloth napkins and hold it in my hand. Yeah. But when they called my name, like I'm gonna tell another secret. My girl is here. I did a show at the Funny Bone like last September. Was it back September or whatever last year? And it was my first time performing in a minute, and I was performing in front of her, and we had just met. And they were, I didn't even know. They were talking about it was time for me, and so they were getting ready to introduce me, and I talked to her and pretended that they weren't saying my name because I was scared. I was scared. I was talking. She was like, "Okay, go." I was like, and I wouldn't necessarily go because I had to play it off like I didn't care. And so I talked to her, and now coming up to the stage, I'm like, yeah, so I don't know, man. I think we about to go get some chicken after this, or whatever. You know, I'm just bullshitting because I have stage fright. I still have stage fright. That was just last year, 6 months ago.
Man, yeah.
Dude, when I host these shows downtown for like the party in the park, the Pro Medica things. You know, me and Key Success were doing those, and they got 10, 20,000 people down there.
Yeah.
And I've done it a million times. I get scared leading up, and so what I'll do is I'll talk to Keith Success, like he'll be up there DJing, and I'll let him DJ for a minute, and I'll pretend I'm not doing anything, and I'm like, give me the mic, and I'll carry the mic around for a good 5, 6, 7 minutes, and not say anything, and I'll finally start talking. But once I start talking, it's lights, camera, action. It's lights, camera, action. I'm standing on, I'm getting the crowd going, I'm pointing at everybody, I'm doing it, but leading up, I get scared. Go ahead, laugh. It's all right.
See, you make everything an attack.
Go ahead, laugh at me, man. It's all right.
I was trying to hold that back. I was like, ugh.
I get scared. That's why I wear diapers, because I be peeing on myself.
Well, no, I'm going to stick to you. Just, you were trying to hold it. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Alright, yeah, that's rough.
Bruh, but it's all good.
Yeah. So how long did you do the morning show in here?
I started off at 3 to 8, in the afternoon. That was my drive, and that was, bringing everybody home, which was cool. And I had a mental episode. I had a mental emotional, not breakdown. I wasn't, but I had to go to therapy because I started to notice that, I'll be honest, I couldn't wear socks because socks were too constricting. I couldn't drive my car with the windows up and the windows tinted because I felt like they were closing in on me. I couldn't wear tight clothes because I felt like I was being constricted, and I was like, what the hell is going on? So I called a therapist, and the dude was dope as hell. He fixed me with this situation in one day. And what it turned out to be was the demographic that I was supposed to be picking up from 3 to 8 was 18 to 24, whatever it was. It was more than that, higher than that. But I had come to realize that my birthday was coming up, and I was getting to the age that was the edge of my demographic, the higher end of my demographic that I was supposed to be going for. And I felt like I was almost too old to be trying to reach that audience. And so I went to my father, and my therapist was like, look, see if your father will let you do the morning show. And I was like, and at that point he had got tired of doing it. So I was like, hey, we think about me and her and him doing the morning show, da 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 da. And he allowed me to take over the morning show. And all my anxiety and stress and mental things, it all just went away. It was all that.
So did anybody say something to you about?
No, nobody knew. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody told me like, hey, you're getting too old. Everything was.
Did the age thing come up like, yo?
Dude, I didn't even know where the age thing came from. I don't even know where. I don't know where it came from. Nobody. No. It was business as usual. It was not just business as usual. It was business as usual and was great. Everything was going great, except me personally. I was freaking out, and I didn't realize I was freaking out until I started talking to my therapist. I went to that literally in 1 hour and a half long visit. He analyzed what was going on with me and gave me a suggestion, and I went and I did it, and I went back to him the next time. I was like, "Yo, it's good. Life is good." But I was freaking out. I was going. It was a personal hell. Like I said, I'm a person who wears socks 24/7. And I was coming home and I was like, I had to be barefoot, and because I couldn't wear like sweats, I had to wear like shorts. I felt I was constricted, and I was having a mental breakdown. And all because radio was that important to me, I felt like I wasn't going to be effective.
Man, yeah.
So I take it personally. I took that job personally. I took that job. That job was who I was for decades.
And is that why you had to get away from it?
No, it was a thing where the radio station was going to go in a different direction, and I didn't think it was the right direction, and it was just like, it was just time for me to maybe just try to do my own thing for a change, and just step back and let them, like, because I always felt like, I still do. I feel like I know radio. I know it like the back of my hand. I can visualize radio. Like, I can visualize everything about it. I can see it. And I was like, well, you know what? If you think it's that way, then maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all do, run it that way. And I'm gonna just run my real estate thing and see what happens.
Yeah.
It was no harm, no foul. It was just like I just had to try to do. Every now and then you got to try to go out on your own and make sure that you got it, and not just got it. Because my father handed me that job. I ran with it. I made it something. But my father gave me that job. I had to do something on my own.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah. All right, one more question. Because we didn't touch on it.
Go ahead. That's what you gonna talk about.
The Frank question.
That's what I hope. Look, I was hoping you was gonna come back to that. Go ahead. What's the question?
Why don't you hear local music on local radio stations?
Okay.
And with that being said, that with Frank interview, he said he can count the number of local artists that have been on rotation on the Juice on one hand.
Okay. And because this is the second time you asked me that question, and I answered it the politically correct way the first time, and I'm going to answer it similar this time. When it comes to, anybody, Frank or anybody who says they can count the people that the Juice played in regular rotation, the local people the Juice played in regular rotation on one hand, can go to hell. And with all due respect to people who feel that way, I give a hearty, and I hope my bishop ain't listening. No, I'm not even gonna say it. No, fuck you. Because let me tell you something right now. First and foremost, it's a business. It's not the University of Toledo's radio station. It's not Scott High School's radio station. This is a business. It's like any other damn business that you are in it to make money, and we feed our families off of that business. We feed our employees' families off of that business. We pay our taxes, our local taxes, our city taxes. We feed the economy off of that business. It is not a playground. It is a business. But with that being said, there is not one other radio station, not one, in the history of Toledo radio, not one that has played more local artists in regular rotation than the Juice FM 107.3. Period. He said he can name 5. He made no. That's another thing too. If he says, speaking of Frank specifically, and I don't have no beef with Frank, by the way. It's with his answer to this question. Frank in general, I have no beef with Frank at all, not at all. But his answer to this question is pisses me off. You don't come across like you know every local. I know every local artist out there. I know everybody. First of all, fool, you don't. So I may be playing local music that you don't know is local. You might go, oh, there must be some new artist that's whack or some new artist. You may not even know who the hell I'm playing. I may be playing a local artist that you don't know is local. And I got a regular rotation, and you just because you don't know who they are, don't mean they're not a local artist. Secondly, like I said, nobody has played more local music in regular rotation than me. We may only give it a couple, 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks maybe, and see what happens. If it don't fly, it don't fly. But don't say that we don't play, that you can name them on one hand. Negro, you out your damn mind. Because nobody, since you asked me that question the first time, I've been thinking, I was like, I actually wanted to just I was tempted to put it on social media. Like, if you're a local artist, or can you name a local artist that you have heard in regular rotation on the Juice FM 107.3? And I was gonna let Facebook just go ahead and fly with it, because I know it will fly with it. I mean, this is my Facebook friends alone, who happen to be my Facebook friends who were artists back in the day, and who some are still kind of artists, whatever. Those fill up more than one hand. Shut the hell up, man! Don't even go there. Just because you don't know who I'm playing, don't mean I'm not playing nothing. And unless I was in the unique position to where I and me alone knew every fucking artist who was played on the radio station. Everyone, because I was quote unquote the gatekeeper. I was a program director. So I gave the yay or nay to every artist. So therefore, every artist that got on was because I put them on. And I know for a fact that nobody played more local artists in regular rotation than the Juice FM 107.3. Then or now. Period. And like my man said in Purple Rain, like Billy said to Prince when Prince acted a fool on stage, this is a business. And you ain't too far gone to see that. My job is for my advertisers. My job is to have the most people listening, so when the commercial break comes, they can get the most. They can reach the most amount of people when the McDonald's commercial plays, and that's my job, is to make sure people are listening. I'm not gonna play no bullshit. I take that back. I have played bullshit because they've been local people, because I'm trying to look out. I've learned how to bury it in the middle of a break of an hour to where it wouldn't affect my team. But I've played local people whose music was just, but I did it out of love. And so if I did that out of love, don't tell me we didn't play nobody in regular rotation. Man, bite me.
All right.
This fool about to make me mad again, baby. You about to make me mad. Another thing, right? No, I was playing. But like I said, and I'm gonna say this too. And like I said, I don't have no personal beef, with Frank or anybody who thinks that way. I don't appreciate it, because I take it personally, because that was my job, and so that's why I take it personally, and first and foremost, because I know it's completely untrue.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna end this the same way. If you can give any advice, well, we do a lot of music stuff, so
Okay.
Any advice to an up and coming artist, what would that be?
If you're an up and coming artist, no matter what genre you're trying to break through, have your music being heard be your goal. If fame is your goal, then you might have a hard road. But if your desire is to create and make music for as many people that you can reach to hear, but if you just want to be able to make it and put it out there and hopefully people like it and love it and fall in love with it, that should be your goal, and then you're gonna be all right. If you're trying to get that big break and be nationally famous. Okay, that's good too, but to have your music reach people should be your goal. I'm a Prince fan, and there are certain times where I can listen to a Prince song and it take me back to where I was in my life and how that song changed me. That's the goal, not the popularity. Not the popularity. I mean, the popularity is a goal, but if your goal should just be to be able to create and make something magical that touches people's lives.